A simple review of volume involves having to go through and look through that formula sheet to make sure that you are understanding how those formulas are working. Something I do want to point out is that whenever you're looking at the formula sheet, they do use pi, which you can use calculator pi or the number 3.14. The directions will be explicit in that, and they will either have you round to the closest answer, or you can choose the best answer based on your pi or 3.14. So if you're going to use calculator pi, make sure you know where it is on your calculator. Also, as a review, make sure you know what the difference between the diameter and the radius. So a diameter is the line segment through the center of a circle that goes from end to end, whereas the radius is half that diameter. It goes from the center to the end of the circle. So if we take a minute and we look at each of the formulas for volume that's on the formula sheet, we can start with a cone. And the cone's formula is pretty straightforward. It is volume is equal to 1/3 pi radius squared h, all being multiplied together. Make sure you know how to do 1/3 as a fraction, and again, where pi is, or using 3.14. So if we look at the example on the right and substitute in our values, we get this substitution here. 19 is the radius because it's going from the center to the end. And whenever we go through and we substitute this in and we use our calculator, we're going to get a number, again, depending whether you use pi or 3.14, that is roughly 13,200 and either 31 or 24, 25, again, depending on how you would round. Our label would always be the unit and then cubed because we're talking about volume. Let's look at cylinder. The cylinder formula is very similar, and the neat thing with a cylinder, it's basically pi r squared, which is the area of the circle, but then we're multiplying it by the height, because basically it's all a cylinder is. So again, if we look at the example on the right and we sort of see the numbers that were given, I do want to point out here that this 22 here is the diameter, so that means that the radius would be half of that, and would be 11. So if we do our substitution, it will look like this. And again, you can see you can use either that pi or that 3.14. And again, the radius would be 11 squared. And it's going to give us an answer, roughly in this case, about 15,500. And again, whether you're doing pi or 3.14, it'll vary, but somewhere around 15,585. In this case, it would be inches cubed. Let's check out a sphere. With a sphere, its formula again is slightly different. It is volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, and so that means all we need out of a sphere is to figure out what the radius is. And again, not the diameter, the radius. So when we look at the example on the right, I can see that my diameter is 5.2, which then means that my radius, then is going to be 2.6 feet. So that if I go through and do my substitution, you can see I'm doing that radius cubed. And again, depending on how you enter it into your calculator, we should get a volume somewhere about 74, slightly under 74. And again, my label here would be feet cubed.